Imini yesabatha ibenhle wabangcwele. Zokula ngehlabelelo 71 inkosi busokuphama bebani. Siyami obongithanda awuzingakaqini yezindaba awuke kwaphakade wangithoba ngeyokuqala Siyami obongithanda awuzingakaqini ezindaba awuke kwaphakade wangithoba ngeyokuqala Angingumsebenzi wakho wasendulo angingakaqini ayibona akengemithombo yamanzi ayingakampompozi Angingumsebenzi wakho wasendulo angingakaqini ayimina akengemithombo oke amanzi ayingakampompozi awunemithombo angemisula angingakampompozi okengamandla ake uJehova wangidala awengaphambi kwendlela yakhe ngemithombo okeyemisula yayingakampompozi okengamandla ake uJehova wangidala awengaphambi kwendlela yakhe ukudila ongakabili awungakade awusebenzile akede ngakalenzi elizulu awunganye angelanga lingakaqali ngemkhathini awezulu awukenenyanga engakaqali ayemkhathini balomhlaba ilanga lingakaqali ngemkhathini Amen. Isihloko salenkonzo sithi Ushembe ungumprofethi Wophezukonke.
Today's topic says Ushembe is the prophet of the Most High.
Emandulo angazi ukuthi ngamuphi unyaka noma ngasiphi isikhathi, kodwa ngaphambi koMose nangesikhathi so-Abraham kwakukhona umuntu kwakuthiwa umpristi omkhulu Wophezukonke.
In ancient times, I do not know exactly when, but it was before the era of Moshe. There was a prophet who was known as the highest prophet, the prophet of the Most High.
Kwesikhathi uyabizwa kuthiwa umpristi omkhulu.
Sometimes he is referred to as the highest priest.
Kodwa akhulunywa kakhulu ngalomprofethi.
But not much is spoken about this prophet.
Kodwa siyafunda ukuthi lo mprofethi waye efike ehlale eshumayele bese buye enyamalala kungazi ukuthi washona.
But we have read that he would just come, appear out of nowhere, and he would preach and then disappear after that.
Wayebizwa kuthiwa uyinkosi yaseSalem.
He was known as the king of Salem.
Leli gama elithi useJerusalem lisuselwa lapho.
And the etymology of the word Jerusalem is from that word.
Lo mprofethi siqala ukuhlangana naye kuGenesis 14 verse 18 to 20.
And we firstly come across this prophet in the book of Genesis 14
verse 18 to 20.
verses 18 to 20.
uMelchizedeki inkosi yaseSalem owayengumpristi kaNkulunkulu Ophezukonke wamlethela isinkwa newayini wambusisa uAbraham. uAbraham makabusiswe nguNkulunkulu Ophezukonke umdali wezulu nomhlaba. Makabongwe uNkulunkulu Ophezukonke onikele esandleni sakho izitha zakho. uAbraham wayesenikela kuMelchizedeki ngokweshumi kwakho konke.
The book of Genesis chapter 14 verses 18 to 20. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. Then Abram gave him a tenth of everything.
Lo mprofethi lo uMelchizedeki kuyacaca ukuthi kwakumprofethi omkhulu ngoba uAbraham wanikela kuye ngokweshumi.
It is clear that this prophet was a great prophet, for Abraham offered to him a tenth of what he had.
Njengoba sengishilo akhulunywa kakhulu ngalomprofethi kodwa siyazi ukuthi wayeyinkosi yaseSalem.
As I said, not much is spoken about this prophet, but we do know that he was the king of Salem.
Siyazi ukuthi waye eqhamuke eshumayele bese buye futhi enyamalala engazi ukuthi ushonephi bese futhi ebuye eqhamuka ezoshumayela indaba kaNkulunkulu.
And that from time to time he would appear and preach, and then after that he would disappear, and the same would keep on recurring.
Akunywa lutho-ke ngalomprofethi size siqala ukuzwa ngalomprofethi mase kukhuluma uPaul kumaHebheru 6 verse 20 kuya kumaHebheru 7 verse 1 to 3.
And not much is spoken about this prophet except in the book of Paul, in the book of Hebrews chapter 6.
uPaul uma ekhuluma ngalomprofethi uthi lapho uYeshua esigijimo wasandulela wangena khona sewaba ngumpriest omkhulu kuze kube phakade ngokaMelchizedek.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 6,
verse 20.
Verses 20. Where our forerunner Yeshua has entered on our behalf, he has become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek.
Lento echaza uPaul ukuthi uYeshua ungumpriest omkhulu ngokuka Melchizedek, in the line of Melchizedek. Kubalekile.
It is important that you understand what Paul is explaining when he says that Yeshua is a priest in accordance to the order of Melchizedek.
Ekuqaleni ngithena lo mpriest wayeqhamuke bese buye futhi enyamalala.
I formally said that this prophet would just appear and then would disappear again.
Manje uPaul uchaza ngoYeshua ukuthi uYeshua ungumpriest omkhulu kaJehova ngokuka Melchizedek, in the line of Melchizedek.
And in accordance to Paul, he explains that Yeshua is also a high priest in accordance to the order of Melchizedek.
Ngamanye amazwi uthi uPaul uqhamuka kaYeshua kubuphinda kokuqhamuka kukaMelchizedek.
In other words, what Yeshua is saying is that the appearance of Yeshua or the coming of Yeshua is equivalent, or it is the coming back of Melchizedek.
Ngamanye amazwi kufana nokuthi i-reincarnation kaMelchizedek.
In other words, it's like the reincarnation of Melchizedek.
Sifundiswe lutho ke nge-reincarnation enkolweni yethu yonke. Kodwa abaprofethi babe nayo lento okuthiwa i-reincarnation, ukuba umprofethi ebe khona efe bese buye futhi ezalwa esikhathini esinye.
And not much has been told to us about reincarnation, but it would happen that prophets would pass away and then be born once more in a different era or a different time.
Hebrew 7 verse 1 to 3 uyaqhubeka uPaul uthi uMelchizedek lo inkosi yaseSalem, umpristi kaNkulunkulu Wophezukonke, owahlangabeza uAbraham mhla ebuya ekubulaleni amakhosi wambusisa. uAbraham wamabela okweshumi kukho konke, yena ogama lakhe okokuqala uma lihunyushwa lisho ukuthi inkosi yokulunga, bese kuba inkosi yaseSalem okuchaza ukuthi inkosi yokuthula.
The book of Hebrews chapter 7 from verses 1 to 3. This Melchizedek was king of Salem and priest of God Most High. He met Abraham returning from the defeat of the kings and blessed him, and Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. First, the name Melchizedek appears, king of righteousness, then also king of Salem, which means king of peace, without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days.
Oh, just wait, I didn't write that. Gana ise, gana nina, gana luzalo, gana siqalo sezinsuku, gana kuphela kokuphila. Kodwa enziwe wafana nendodana kaNkulunkulu, uyohlala engumpristi kuze kube phakade.
Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever.
Uma uPaul echaza ngalompristi uthi akana nina, akana yise, akana kuqala kokuzalwa, akana kuphela kwezinsuku.
When Paul explains to us regarding this priest Melchizedek, he says that he does not have a mother nor a father, and he does not have a beginning of days nor end of days.
lento echazwa umpostoli Paul iyachaza ukuthi uMelchizedeki kwakuumuntu wasezulwini wayengazalwa umuntu wala emhlabeni.
And what Paul is explaining here is telling us that Melchizedek was a heavenly being. He was not born of a woman on earth.
Akujwayelekile ukuba kukhulunywe kakhulu ngalento kodwa ijulile kakhulu.
People do not usually speak about this, but it is something that is very deep.
Ubaba ilanga wakwakhuluma ngokuthi umprofethi Ushembe kuthula kube kuye kwakuseyena uMelchizedek.
Ushembe II once said the prophet Ushembe, peace be upon him, was the reincarnation of Melchizedek.
No baba mkhulu wakwa ukuchaza lokho noma engazange waliphatha igama elithi Melchizedek.
And the prophet also explained the same, but he did not use the name Melchizedek.
Othi ubaba mkhulu njengoba sengihlale nani isikhathi eside kangaka aningibuzi ngani ukuthi ngiubani.
And the prophet asked them, as I've lived with you for quite some time, why do you not inquire of me as to who I am?
Uthi ke aningazi noma ngiyindiya noma ngingumlungu ozipende wabamnyama noma ngempela ngumuntu omnyama aningazi.
You do not know whether I am an Indian or a white person who has painted themselves to be a black person. You do not know me.
Uthi ke ubaba mkhulu ngingumprofethi womkhathi.
The prophet then went on to say that he was a prophet of the firmament.
Uthi uma iqhubeka ichaza umprofethi uthi umprofethi kukhona umprofethi ohlala emkhathini owabekwa uNkulunkulu emkhathini.
And he continues to explain that there is a prophet that lives in the firmament and was placed there by God.
Uthi ke lo mprofethi uyaye ebheke isizwe esonile bese uNkulunkulu emthumela kuso kuba esiqondisa.
And this prophet looks for a nation that has transgressed before God, and then God sends the prophets to correct that nation through his teachings.
Uthi ke ubaba mkhulu uma leso sizwe sesikhethiwe uNkulunkulu kuya kube kuleso sizwe sekubhekwa intombi nensizwa abanenhliziyo ehlanzekileyo.
And the prophet went on to say that when God has identified the nation, he then goes to choose a maiden and a man who are pure in heart.
Bese uNkulunkulu ebahlanganisa ngothando lwasemhlabeni bethanda.
And then God brings them together through earthly love, and they become one in love.
Ekugcineni beshade.
They end up getting married.
Uthi ke umprofethi uma sebeshadile lo mprofethi wasemoyeni bese ehlela esizalweni senkosikazi.
And then when they are married, the spirit of this prophet then descends to the womb of this maiden.
Bese ekhulelwa njengabo bonke abantu, ezalwe njengabo bonke abantu, ekhule njengabo bonke abantu, naye engazi ukuthi umprofethi womkhathi.
And then he grows up to be like all other people, and then he, without the knowledge that he is a prophet of the firmament.
Kufike isikhathi lapha uNkulunkulu amsebenzisa khona ebese uyambonisa yonke into oyiyona.
Up until such a time that God shows him what he truly is.
Uthi ke ubaba mkhulu nami batabami ngazalwa kanjalo.
And the prophet went on to say, that is how I was also born.
Ngazalwa njengani nje ngakhula njengani.
I was born in the same way that you were born, and I grew up in the same manner which you grew.
Kodwa uNkulunkulu wayesengibizela entabeni yasenhlangakazi.
But God then called me to Mount Nhlangakazi.
Ngathi mangise entabeni yasenhlangakazi uNkulunkulu wayesengamukelisa isidlo.
And when I was at the mountain, then God gave me
Communion.
a communion, a holy communion.
uthi ngathi mangisemukela lesidlo ngisifaka emlonyeni uthi ngaso leso sikhathi kwase kuyaphela ukube ngibe umuntu ozalwe umfazi nendoda.
And when I had accepted that Holy Communion, that was the end of my days as a mortal man.
Ngaso leso sikhathi ngaba khona emhlabeni ngaba khona ezulwini.
And at that very same time, I existed here on earth and in heaven.
Ngaso leso sikhathi ngaba khona emandulo.
And in the very same time, I existed in ancient times.
Ngaqala ngazi ukuthi angiqala ukufika kulesizwe kodwa sekungokwesihlanu ukufika kulesizwe.
And I understood then that it was not the first time that I had come to this nation, but it was the 5th time.
Uthi nganikezwa isibuko ngakwazi ukubona ngisho inhliziyo yomuntu.
And I was given a mirror, and through that mirror I was even able to see the hearts of men.
Lento umprofeti wayichaza yona lento ibichaza uPaul ukuthi uMelchizedeki kwakumprofeti kaNkulunkulu osetshenziswa uNkulunkulu kodwa ohlala emkhathini.
And what the prophet was explaining is the same thing that has been explained by Paul, that Melchizedek was a prophet of the Most High God, a prophet that lives in the firmament.
Kodwa lo mprofeti uma efika kuleso sizwe ehlele kuleso sizwe uthatha isimo saleso sizwe.
And whenever that prophet descends upon a particular nation, he takes on the nature of that nation.
Wakwachaza lokho ubaba Ilanga uma ungafunda ku page 82 wencwadi kaMnyando uzokuthola.
Ushembe II once explained this if you were to read in the 82nd page of the books of Advocate Myang.
Uthi ke ubaba Ilanga Ushembe lo owaphemba lobu uNazaretha wayengesiye umuntu wayevele ezulwini.
Ushembe who formed this Nazarite faith was not a man, but he was a divine being.
Kodwa wayengaqala ukufika lapha emhlabeni.
But it was not his first time coming here.
Wayefike ayiphembe lento esibuthene ngayo ayishiye acabange ukuthi izosala ilunge.
He would form this faith system and leave it behind, thinking that the rest who would follow would carry it out properly.
Bese mva kwakhe kuvela abantu abanjengami nje abayibethi bangabaholi bengenawo umoya kaShembe bese bayayiphambukisa lento sebeyiphendula ngokuthakathaka babo.
And after him, people like me would appear who would claim to be leaders, and after him, they would bring this astray and carry it out in accordance to their personal weaknesses.
Ngale nkulumo kaBaba Ilanga sifunda izinto ezithile zokuthi ubuNazaretha lobu abuqala ukufika lapha.
We learn from this talk by Ushembe II that this is not the first time that the Nazarene faith comes amongst us as a people.
ubuNazaretha inkolo kaJehova.
It is a faith system of Yahweh.
Kwaqala kwafika uMelchizedeki.
It was firstly Melchizedek who came.
Kodwa kwase kuba uYeshua.
And then it was Yeshua.
Manje sekuShembe.
And currently it is Ushembe.
Lo muntu ngokwasemhlabeni abantu abahlukene.
This person, in according to the earthly version, are different people.
Kodwa ezulwini umuntu oyedwa.
But in heaven it is one person.
Oya reincarnate bese ethatha inhlobo yaleso sizwe okusona.
Who reincarnates himself to take on the nature of the nation that he has come upon.
Lento ke into ejulile ukuba abantu bayazi.
This is something deep for people to understand.
Ikhona uyawube nenkinga uma sekuqhamuka noma imuphi umuntu bese ethi ngokwaShembe bese ecabanga ukuthi umholi wobuNazaretha.
And that is why you are always faced with a difficulty when somebody says that they belong to the Ushembe family, and so therefore they are the leader of this faith system.
Njengoba esho ubaba Ilanga uthi emva kwalomprofeti kuyaqhamuka abantu abanjengami nje bese bethi abangabaholi kodwa bengenawo umoya kaShembe bese beyiqhuba lento besiyonakala lento.
As Ushembe II is saying here, that after the prophet would come people like him who would lead this faith system in accordance to their personal weaknesses and lead it astray.
Ubaba Ilanga wayichaza kakhulu indaba kaShembe umprofethi ukuthi umuntu onjani.
Ushembe II did explain the nature of the prophet and what type of person he was.
Uma uzofunda ku page 142 encwadi kaMnyandu nanka amazwi akhulunywa ubaba Ilanga.
If you read the 142nd page of the book by Advocate Nyambe, these were the words that were spoken by Ushembe II.
Ngawo lo nyaka ababefike ngawo bethi angiyeke lento ngiye eMelika phesheya, ngathi ngibona kwakufika insizwa lapha kimi engangayazi inkosi uNdaba ihamba nomfundisi uSiwela.
And in that very same year, when they told me that I should leave this alone and go to America, then came Chief Ndaba, who came along with him with Siwela.
Lo nyaka kwakunyaka cishe ka 1938 lapho wakusanda kuhamba khona ubaba mkhulu. Ubaba Ilanga wa approachwa umafukuzela wamtshela ukuthi akayiyeke lento yokuba umholi wamaNazaretha ejoin iAmerican board bazomthatha bemuse eAmerica eyofunda kangcono kulapho.
It was around the year 1938 when Ushembe II was approached by Mafukuzela, and he was told that he should leave this faith he should disown leading this faith system and go to America.
Uthike ubaba Ilanga ngalonyaka kwafika inkosi uNdaba nonkosi ongumfundisi noSiwela bafika kuye kuphakameni.
And he says that in that very same year the Chief Ndaba came with Siwela at Ekphakameni.
Bathi bathunywe intombi ele ngasemphungundlovu elokhu yahlala ingagani ithi ilindele uJesu.
And that they were sent by a maiden from Ungumprofethi who was saying that she was a nun and she was waiting for Yeshua to come back.
Bathi le ntombazana ithe ibona yabona umhlola kwase kufika kuye umuntu wayibuza ukuthi yenzani.
And this maiden says that she witnessed something strange, that as she was sitting came to her a person who asked of her as to what she was doing.
Yathi ngilinde uJesu.
And she said that I'm waiting for Yeshua.
Wathi lo muntu uJesu kade wafika emhlabeni mntanami.
And this person said Yeshua has came back on earth.
Useze wabuye wahamba.
And he has even left again.
Ithi ke le ntombazana wena ungubani?
And this maiden asked us to, who are you?
Impendulo ithi yimi uJesu mntanami.
And the reply was, I am Yeshua, my child.
Intombazana esithi pho ngoba ungumuntu omnyama nje.
And the maiden then asked, but you are a black person.
Uthi lo muntu cha mntanami kubantu abamnyama ngimnyama kwabamhlophe ngimhlophe emandiyeni ngilindiya.
And this person said, no, my child, to the black person I appear as a black person, and to the whites the same happens, and to the Indians I appear as an Indian.
Angazi noma niyayizwa leyo nto.
I do not know whether you understand that.
Le ntombazana yayilindele uJesu.
This maiden was waiting for Yeshua.
Yathatha isifungo sokuthi ngeke ize igane ngaphambi kokuba uJesu ebuye.
And she took on a vow that she would never get married before the coming of Jesus.
Kodwa isalindile esikhundleni sokuba kuqhamuka uJesu kwafika ubaba mkhulu.
But as she was waiting for Yeshua, instead it came the prophet.
Uthi ubaba mkhulu hawu mntanami wenzani?
And the prophet asked her, my child, what is it that you are doing?
Ithi hayi ngilinde uJesu.
And she said, no, I'm waiting for Yeshua.
Uthi ubaba mkhulu hawu mntanami uJesu kade wabuya sezwe wabuya ubuyele emuva.
And the prophet said, Yeshua has long come back, and he has even went back to heaven again.
Ithi intombazana wena ubani?
And this maiden asked as to whom are you?
uthi yimina uJesu.
And he said that I am Yeshua.
Ngenxa yokuthi safundiswa ukuthi uJesu umhlophe. Ithi le ntombazana kodwa uma uJesu umuntu omnyama kanjani.
But because we were taught that Yeshua was a white person, this maiden then asked, but how is it that you are Yeshua but a black person?
Uthi ke ubaba mkhulu mntanami kubelungu ngibamhlophe kumandiya ngibe India kubantu abamnyama ngibe umuntu omnyama kodwa yimina uJesu.
And the prophet said, to the white man I am white, to the Indian I'm an Indian, and to the black person I'm black, but I am Yeshua.
Ubaba mkhulu wayechaza le ndaba kaMelchizedek.
And the prophet was explaining the same case or the order of Melchizedek.
Ukuthi sekungokwehlanu efika la emhlabeni.
That it was the 5th time that he was coming here on earth.
Kodwa njengoba wayefika emhlabeni wayefika ezizweni ezahlukene.
And that as he would come here on earth, he would come to different nations
Ngokuthunywa uNkulunkulu.
according to being mandated by God.
Uyaqhubeka ithi le ntombazana yabona izinwele zalomuntu ziphenduka ziba mhlophe waba ngumuntu omhlophe.
And this maiden continued to say that she then saw the hair of this person.
Abavuka abantu.
And this maiden said that she then saw the hair of this person becoming like those of the white man, and then this person became white.
Wathi lo muntu ngikutshelile ukuthi ngiuye wonke umuntu.
And this and he said, I told you that I can become anybody I want.
Kade ngafika bewuhlaleleni ungeze kuphakameni.
And that long have I came back. Why did you not come to a parliament?
Yaqala ke manje ubaba mkhulu sethi ubungezingane kuphakameni kade ngafika.
And the prophet started asking her, why did you not come back to a parliament? Because I had long come back.
Kodwa abantu basemhlabeni mawuthi Ushembe noJesu into eyodwa bavele bethukuthele.
But when you tell the people on earth that Yeshua and Ushembe are the same person, they just become angry.
Uthi ke baba mkhulu uyabona ke hamba uye kuphakameni ngiyathuma.
And the prophet said, you see, go to a parliament, that is where I'm sending you.
Utshela abantu abami ukuthi uSathane uyabazungeza ufuna ukuba abachithe.
And tell my children that the devil is circulating around them, for he wants to destroy them.
Ubatshele ukuthi bangahlakazeki noma bebuthakathaka.
And that they should not disperse or although they are weak.
Amandla akuba ayesabeka noma bebuthakathaka kodwa amandla akuba ayesabeka.
In them is a great power, though they are a weak people, but they have great power.
Noma bempofu bacebe ngokwesabekayo.
Even though they are poor, they are rich.
Noma bemnyama bamhlophe kunezinto zonke.
Though they are black, they are whiter or purer than anything else.
Ubatshele ukuthi ingubo emhlophe izosuka lapha ekuphakameni ize iyofika kwamzilikazi.
And tell them that this white garment of a parameli will spread across this place up until the place of Mziligas.
Uthi ke ubaba ilanga la lo mfundi lenkosi uchief Ndaba noSwela babezomtshela lokho bethunywe intombazana yomlungu ethena ilindele uJesu wafika Ushembe.
And Ushembe II said that this chief Ndaba and Suwela were there to tell him that they were sent by a white woman, a white maiden, that as she was waiting for Yeshua, Ushembe came.
Manje ke ngiyafisa ukuba lento niyazi noma abantu abaningi abangamaKristu nabangamaNazaretha bengayazi ukuthi kanjani ukuthi uNkulunkulu usebenza ngomprofethi oyedwa ngokomoya kodwa othatha izidumbu eziningi uma eselapha emhlabeni.
So I wish for you to understand that though you are Christians and Nazarites, you might not understand this, but God works using one prophet in the spiritual realm who takes on the nature of different people here on earth.
Ithi ingilosi ithi ngelinye ilanga ngeke niqonde izinto zasemhlabeni izinto zasezulwini ngoba izulu ngomunye umhlaba nalomhlaba futhi ngomunye umhlaba.
The angel once said that you cannot understand the nature of heaven, for heaven is a totally different earth, and this is a totally different earth.
Ngake ngakhuluma ukuthi la emhlabeni ungabona ubaba mkhulu nobaba ilanga nenyanga ezulu uqonde ukuthi ubaba mkhulu laba abantu yabazala kanti ezulwini akunjalo.
And I once said that here on earth you may observe that the prophet was the father of Ushembe the second and the third, but in heaven it is not so.
Ngake ngakhuluma ngathi abantu abaningi uma besibona bayebethi singabakwampanza kanti ezulwini kwehlukile kunalo.
And I've also said that many people think that we are from the Mpanza family, but in heaven that is different.
Ezulwini singabanye abantu asibona laba bakwampanza abantu abacabanga ukuthi sibona.
In heaven we are not the people of the Mpanza family that people think of us to be.
Ziningi ke izinto ezenzeka ezulwini esingayiqondi la emhlabeni.
And there are many things that happen in heaven that we do not understand here on earth.
Ziningi esesizazi thina njengoba sihlala nengilosi.
And there are many of them that we know since we live with an angel.
La emhlabeni kunabantu abayinyama kodwa belethwe uNkulunkulu kodwa bebesenyameni.
There are physical beings here on earth who are though they are physical, they have been sent by God to come here on earth.
Bese kubana abantu lapha emhlabeni abangayibabantu kodwa esingakwazi ukubona ukuthi akubona abantu.
And then there are other people who look like humans but they are not humans.
Abangakaze beze bezalwe umuntu.
Who have never been born by a woman.
Abanye balethwe uSathane.
And some of them have been brought by the devil.
Abanye balethwe uNkulunkulu.
And some of them have been brought by God.
Ngendlela ezahlukene.
In different ways.
Ngake ngasho ngathi ngenkathi ngithola indaba kaMkhokheli ngafika komunye umuntu wayesethi nansi ngilosi phambi kwethu asigoqa ngase ngiyagoqa naye.
I have said too that when I first heard the news about the chief counselor, I went to a person and this person said that he is an angel before us, let us kneel.
Wayesethi lo muntu othi okuthiwa umkakho wathi ezalwa wayezalelwa wena.
And this person said this person who is regarded as your wife, when she was born specifically for you.
Wathi kodwa akusiyena umuntu lo ingilosi ebeyisosha ephendule enziwa umuntu wesifazane ukuze ihlale nawe.
And this person said that this is not a human, she is an angel, a heavenly soldier who has been made human so that she can live with you.
Leyo nto ngaleso sikhathi angizange ngayiqonda ukuthi ichaza ukuthini.
And at the time I did not understand what was meant.
Ukuthi ingilosi yenziwa kanjani umuntu wesifazane.
As to how an angel can be made a woman.
Kodwa le ngilosi eyakhuluma nathi noma ngangayiboni yasho njalo.
But this angel that spoke to us, though I did not see him, said that.
Kodwa emva kwesikhathi yayisifika ke ingilosi ewumoya isihlala nathi.
And after some time, then an angel who is a spiritual being came to live with us.
Ngase ngifunda izinto eziningi engangayiqondi.
And there are many things that I learned which I did not understand.
Ngabona ukuthi noma umkhokheli engazazi kodwa lento engangitshelwa ngayo injalo nje.
And I became aware that though the chief counselor is not aware of herself, but what I was told is the case.
Engiqonde ukusho ukuthi lento esikuyo singayinikayibukeli phansi.
What I'm saying is that what we are gathered for, do not despise it.
Lento noma amaNazaretha nabantu bakwaShembe beyibukela phansi ngendlela abayenza ngayo, kodwa lento inkulu, lento ingeyasezulwini.
Though the Ushembe people look down upon this, this is something great. It is heavenly in its nature.
Njoba esho ubaba mkhulu ukuthi uyaye ukhule ungazi bese ubona later. Nami ngakhula ngazi ukuthi ngisithunywa sikaNkulunkulu kodwa manje sengiyazi.
As the prophet has said that you grow up without the knowledge, but as time progresses, you are made aware. I was also not aware, but now I know that I'm a servant of God.
Ayikho futhi enye into abantu abasizonda abangayenza iqiniso ukuthi sithunywe uNkulunkulu angeke ukushintsha.
And there is nothing that people who hate us can do, because the truth is that we have been sent by God and you cannot change that.
Kuyingozi ukuthi uzakhele inzondo ngomuntu ungamazi.
It is dangerous, therefore, to create hatred towards someone you do not know.
Ucabange ukuthi umuntu ufana nawe kanti akafani nawe.
Thinking that a person is like you, but they are not like you.
Lo muntu uNkulunkulu uyamthanda.
This person is loved by God.
Lo muntu uNkulunkulu urelya kuyena.
God relies on this person.
Bese wena ufika ulwana lo muntu ungazi ukuthi ulwana.
And then you come to fight against this person, not knowing what it is that you are fighting against.
Ilokho ngeke ngikubone kumaNazaretha ngikubone kumaKristu.
And that is what I always see amongst the Christians and the Nazarenes.
Ziningi izinto esizivezile ebengeke ikwazi ukuveza umuntu.
And there are many
Ola
things,
emhlabeni.
and there are many things that we have shown to be the truth, which no other person would have been able to reveal.
Lokho sikwazi ukwenza ngoba sihleli nengilosi.
And we were able to do that because we live with an angel.
Lokho sikwazi ukwenza ngoba sithunyiwe ezulwini ukuthi sikwenze.
And we are able to do that because we have been sent in heaven to do that.
Kodwa ngoba kunabantu abakha inzondo ngathi bengazi ukuthi bayenzelani, lesi simo sibaphatha kabi.
But because there are people who have created a hatred towards us without having any reason, this does not settle well with them.
KunamaNazaretha ayaye elwe kakhulu. Elwela ukuthi sithi uJesu akekho.
There are many Nazarites who fight against us, and Christians who fight against us when we say that Jesus does not exist.
La maNazaretha alwa uma sithi uJesu akekho, hayi ukuthi alwa ngoba ngempela elwa, kodwa alwela ukuthi lokho kuvezwe yithina.
These Nazarites who fight against us when we say that Jesus has never existed are not fighting against that necessarily, but they are fighting against it because we are the ones who have revealed it.
Ukuthi lo muntu lona uyini ukuze eveze lento asimphikise.
And they undermine me, saying, what is he that he may reveal such things? Let us argue against him.
KunamaNazaretha ayayiphike ukuthi sihamba nengilosi, hayi ngoba engaboni, kodwa aphika ngoba enomona, ngoba esizonda.
There are other Nazarites who are in denial that we are journeying with an angel, but it is not that they are in denial, but it is because of the hatred they have towards us.
Bathi ingilosi ngazize kulomuntu, why ize kulomuntu, asiphike lento.
And they question as to why would an angel come to this person. Let us argue against this.
Ngenkathi ethi asiphike ngoba ize kulomuntu, akangazi ukuthi ngiyinto eyisima kanjani ezulwini.
And whenever they say that let us argue against this person, they do not know what state I am in according to heaven.
Maningi amaKristu aphikayo ukuthi uJesu akekho, hayi ngoba engaboni, kodwa acasula ukuthi lento ivele kubantu bakwaShembe.
There are many people who have now seen that Jesus has never existed, but what brings them to anger is that this has been revealed by someone from the Ushembe part.
Bayibona lento ukuthi ayingempela iqiniso, kodwa leli iqiniso liyabahlupha ngoba bengafanele ukuthi iqhamuke kubantu bakwaShembe.
They can see that this is the truth, but this troubles them because it was not supposed to be revealed by a person from the Ushembe congregation.
AmaNazaretha ayibona ukuthi lento iqiniso, kodwa bakhathazeka ukuthi iqhamuke nomuntu ngokwabo ongelutho.
And the Nazarites are able to see that this is something that is true, but what troubles them is that it was brought by someone who they look down upon.
Kodwa lento esivezile ayikwazi ukushintsha injengoba injalo.
But what has been revealed cannot change. That is the nature of things.
So abantu njengamaKristu bayebeqhamuke nezinto abazi kahle ukuthi asizona, kodwa ngoba befuna ukuthi ongenani kube khona into abangase besithuke ngayo noma besibukele phansi ngayo.
So people who are Christians just come up with some things that do not exist just because they are creating stuff that they can use to insult us.
Ngike ngibone amanye amaKristu esesithuka ngokuthi sithi Ushembe uNkulunkulu, kodwa bazi kahle ukuthi leli bandla liya-against lokho.
And I have seen some Christians insulting us by saying that we say Ushembe is God, but they know clearly that this congregation is against that.
Ngizwe amaKristu ethi sikhonza amadlozi sibandla lamasiko, bazi kahle ukuthi leyo nto ayikho kuleli bandla.
And I hear Christians saying that we worship ancestors and we are a church of traditions, but they clearly know that does not exist amongst us.
Kodwa ngoba ayikho into abangase besithukele yona, kufanele ukuthi besi associate nalabo abantu abathukekayo ukuze nathi sithukeke.
But because they have no substance which they can bring to the table and insult us on, then they associate us with the people who have substances or things that are derogatory.
AmaKristu asenkingeni kakhulu kuna wonke amakholwa khona emhlabeni.
And it is the Christians who are in the greatest trouble.
Ngoba lokhu ukuthi uJesu into engekho noma bengahlanya benze njani kodwa kunjalo nje.
Because saying that Jesus does not exist, whether they become insane, but that is the truth.
Ukuthi uKristu kwakhiwa uConstantine noma ungahlanya uqhamukena kuphi ukuhlanya kodwa kunjalo nje ngeke ushintshe ngoba kumlando.
And the fact that Christianity was created by Constantine cannot be changed. Even if you bring yourself to any type of insanity, it will not change.
Lama creeds enziwa uConstantine achitha zo inkolo kaJehova nayo yonke into ehlangene noJehova abakwazi kuyenza lutho ngoba ibhalwe phansi wona amaRoma abakwazi kuyenza lutho.
And they cannot do anything to the creeds that were written by Constantine, the creeds that seek to abolish the faith system of Yahweh and Yahweh himself, because they were written by the Romans.
Kufanele bechoose izinto ezimbili, bechoose ukuthi beyeke lento ebhedayo noma bebeziphukuphuku beqhubeke nayo ngoba becabanga ukuthi izoshintsha.
And they only have two things to choose from, whether they leave or forsake what has been revealed as foolishness, or they should continue and do what is right.
Kufanele amaKristu azi ukuthi uJesu akekho, akakaze bebikho.
And Christians should know that Jesus has never existed.
Noma bengabanga umsindo benzeni kodwa babanga umsindo ngento engekho.
And no matter how much of noise they make, they are making a noise about something that does not exist.
Uma ngithi uJesu akekho angikhulumi ngenkolo, ngikhuluma ngeqiniso lomlando ukuthi uJesu akakaze bekhona.
And when I say that Jesus does not exist, this is not a religious belief, but it is a historical fact that the man Jesus has never existed.
Uma uJesu abakhona wayezalwa ubani ngoba uMaria noJosepha babezala uYeshua umHebrew.
And if he did exist, then who was his mother? For Mary and Joseph gave birth to a son known as Yeshua the Hebrew.
Abasitshele ukuthi uJesu yena wayezalwa ubani ngoba abakwazi ukuthi wayezalwa uMaria noJosepha ngoba uMaria noJosepha wazala uYeshua.
Then they must tell us if they say that he exists as to who his parents were. And they cannot say that it was Mary and Joshua and Joseph, for those two people gave birth to Yeshua.
Laba bantu kwakungamaHebheru kodwa lo muntu lona esimbona lapha iItalian.
And Mary and Joseph were Hebrews, but the person being shown to us is an Italian.
Abasitshele ukuthi uKristu uma kungayikho lokho esikuchaza kwakhiwa kanjani.
And they must tell us that if Christianity is not what we have explained to them, then how was it formed?
Kwafika kanjani la emhlabeni?
How did it came to be? How did it come to be?
Ngoba ngiyakwazi mina ukuchaza ukuthi inkolo kaJehova yafikela entabeni yaseSinayi yonke into eyenzeka kufika lenkolo siyayazi ibhalwe phansi.
Because we are able to explain that the faith system of Yahweh came upon the Mount Sinai, and we are able to explain other events that followed after that, for those are things that are written.
Manje ubuKristu bavela kanjani ngoba ubuKristu bavela uYeshua kudala wahamba emhlabeni wavela kanjani kuphi lapho umuntu wavela khona.
And then the question is, how did Christianity come into existence?
Ngeke beze bekutshele ngoba banamahlobo ongenani kufanele bekufihle ukuthi kwavela kanjani.
They cannot tell you, or they cannot answer, for they are embarrassed about it. What they can try to do is hide it away from you.
Kuke kwaba khona umuntu ku Rise FM othena ngibonile ukuthi into yobuKristu ayikho ngoba uma ngithi ngifunda umlando weOld Testament uneminyaka echaza ukuthi nokuthi kwenze kanjani kodwa mase kuza lapha eBukristweni akubhalwe iminyaka akubhalwe lutho ukuthi lento yenzeka kanjani.
And when we are speaking on the radio station Rise FM, one of the listeners says that I have come to witness that the Christian religion does not exist. For in the Old Testament, everything that transpired is dated, but when it comes to Christianity, nothing is dated.
Into isimangaliso nebugebengu obuxakile ukuthi babe bethathe izinto ezikaYeshua bese bethi zazenzeka kuJesus.
And what is a great confusion and the great forgery that happens is that they take on the things that were done by Yeshua and then claim them under the name of Jesus.
Bese behambe befaka yonke ke into engalona iqiniso.
And they start inserting any other thing that is not truthful.
Abelungu sebayibona leyo nto bayiyeka lento yobuKristu kodwa abantu abamnyama uma bachazela ukuthi ayikho lento yobuKristu uvele ukuthi abahlanye bethi uhlubukile.
And many white people have forsaken this thing of Christianity, but when it comes to the black people, they just go insane and they say that you are practicing apostasy.
Laba bangamaNazaretha noma ungathi ngabachazela kanjani bazama ukuba ongenani bebe ngakumaKristu kunokuthi besivumele entweni esobala.
And amongst them, those who are the Nazarites prefer to side with the Christians instead of just agreeing with us, because this is something that is clear.
Umona ke unjalo.
And that is the nature of jealousy.
Kodwa amaNazaretha noma namaKristu kufanele azinto eyodwa ukuthi sithunywe uNkulunkulu ngeke beze bemelane nathi.
But the Nazarites and the Christians must know that we have been sent by God, and they can never stand against us.
Yonke into esiyenzayo angeke bekwazi ukuyenza.
And everything that we are able to do, they can never do.
Kusancane lokho abakubonayo okukhulu ngokuzayo.
And we have only shown them a very small portion. What is coming is even greater.
Sizobafundisa amaNazaretha ukuthi lo uNkulunkulu owayehamba labantwana bakwaIsrael njengamanje uhamba nathi.
And we are going to teach the Nazarites that the same God who journeyed with the children of Israel is the same God who is journeying with us now.
Sizobonisa ama-Kristu ngezenzo ukuthi lo nkulunkulu wayehamba nabantwana bakwa-Israyeli uhamba nathi njengamanje.
And we will show the Christians through our actions that the God who was journeying with the children of Israel is now journeying with us.
Kufanele bayathanda abathandi ama-Kristu kodwa ayogcine kwamukela ukuthi ayikho into yokuthisi.
And whether they like it or not, the Christians will end up coming into terms with the fact that the entity Jesus has never existed.
Ngoba njengoba ezulwini kuthiwa nasiyiveze lento sizoyiveza.
Because as we have been instructed in heaven that we should reveal these things, we are going to reveal them.
Sizele lapha kuzoqondisa inkolo kaJehova.
And we have come here to fix the wrongs that people have done in when it comes to the faith system of Yahweh.
Ayikho into abangayenza amaNazaretha ngeke enze lutho, amaKristu ngeke enze lutho ngoba sihamba noJehova.
And there is nothing that the Nazarites or the Christians can do because we are with Yahweh.
Engiqonde ukukusho nengifuna ukuthi niqonde ukuthi ubudlelwane bukaShembe noYeshua uhamba kanjani.
What I'm saying to you and what I want you to understand is the relationship between Yeshua and Shembe.
Ukuthi lobu budlelwane umuntu oyedwa lona owayebizwa kuthiwa uMelchizedek ekudalweni kodwa njengamanje usewuShembe.
That this relationship is but one person who was formerly known as Melchizedek but is now known as Shembe.
Waba uYeshua.
And he was once Yeshua.
Angibazi abanye kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi waba uMelchizedek, ngiyazi ukuthi waba uYeshua, manje usewuShembe. Kodwa umuntu oyedwa, umoya owodwa.
I know that he was once Melchizedek and then became Yeshua and now is Shembe. I do not know of the others, but it is still one spirit.
Lo moya njengamanje na uhleli nathi.
And this spirit is currently amongst us.
And ngawo sizosebenza izinto ezinkulu zasezulwini.
And with that spirit we are going to do great wonders.
Abantu lobu buNazaretha bukaba bamkhulu kuzoqala phansi bebone ukuthi uNazaretha into enjani.
And people will see what the Nazarite faith is, because we are going to revive the same Nazarite faith as that of the prophet Isaiah.
Uthi ubaba mkhulu lobu uNazaretha ubuye kofika komzilikazi.
And the prophet said that this Nazarite faith will spread up until the place of Nziligas.
Ayiqonda ukusho ubaba mkhulu ukuthi iAfrika yonke iyogcina inguNazaretha.
And what the prophet was saying was that the whole of Africa will end up being Nazarites.
Ubaba ilanga uthi zonke izinto zizodlula kodwa ubuNazaretha ngeke bedlule, and ayikho into emhlabeni eyogcina iyinhle idlula ubuNazaretha.
And Shembe II said that all things will come to pass, but this Nazarite faith will never come to pass, and there will be nothing that is more beautiful than this faith system.
Manje na kwesiswe ingilosi ukuthi izohlala nathi ukuze sinayo siqondise lobu buNazaretha.
And now an angel has been sent to live amongst us so that we can straighten this faith system.
Manje na ke ngiyacela kini ukuthi nikholwe ngempela.
So I am asking of you to be truly faithful.
Ukuze umhlaba wazi ukuthi lo nkulunkulu owayehamba namaHebheru usehamba nathi manje.
So that the world can know that the God who journeyed with the Hebrews is now amongst us.
Leli bandla alingafani nabandla emhlabeni.
And this congregation should not be like any other congregation here on earth.
Asizukuqhosha ngokuceba kodwa ngeke sihlupheke.
We are not going to brag about or boast about being rich, but we are not going to be poor as well.
Kodwa okukhulu nako konke ukuthi fanele sisebenze kakhulu.
But,
Sonke.
but the greatest task is that we should really work hard, and we should all work hard.
Mina nomkhokheli siyasebenza.
The chief counselor and I work hard,
Sisebenza imini nobusuku.
and we work during day and night.
Ngoba siyazi ukuthi sisithunywa zikaNkulunkulu.
Because we know that we are servants of God.
Njengoba sizinceku zikaNkulunkulu sibhekeke ukuthi senze konke uma saphila la emhlabeni okuzokwenza ukuthi leli bandla likaNkulunkulu umhlaba ubone ulazi.
And since we are servants of God, we understand that we should do everything in our power whilst we are here on earth to establish firmly this faith system so that the whole world knows about it.
Ngithi umuntu nomuntu akathi ngami uNkulunkulu akaziwe emhlabeni ngami.
And I'm saying that each and every one of us should say that God should be known by all people through me.
uNkulunkulu wethembe thina ukuthi ngathi uyokwaziwa emhlabeni njoba uSathana sayicabanga ukuthi umhlaba ungowakhe nje.
And God has entrusted that to us, that through us He will be known throughout the whole world, as the devil now thinks that the world belongs to him.
uSathana sayicabanga ukuthi usewunqobile umhlaba kodwa akawunqobi.
The devil thinks that he has conquered the earth, but he has not.
Into enkulu ofanele siyenze ukuthandana.
The greatest thing we should do is to love one another.
Siyeke ukuhlebana.
We should stop gossiping each other.
Kodwa ngaso sonke isikhathi umuntu nomuntu eyibuze ukuthi ngingamenzelani uNkulunkulu.
And each and every one of us should introspect themselves and ask, what can I do for God?
Siyeke ukuba sibe abantu basemhlabeni kodwa sibe abantu basezulwini sila emhlabeni.
And let us stop being people of this world, and let us be heavenly beings whilst we are here.
And uma senze njalo nizobona ukuthi lo uNkulunkulu wethu unamandla angakanani.
And if we can do that, we will see how great our God is, the greatness of His power.
Uma lo uNkulunkulu wethu kuyena lo uNkulunkulu waIsraeli yini ezokwenza ukuthi thina engasehliseli imana evela ezulwini.
And if our God is indeed the God of the Israelites, what would stop Him from bringing to us manna from heaven?
Yini sizokwehluleka ukuthi masithi silambile uNkulunkulu ehlise imana esiphe sidle.
What would stop Him from giving us manna whenever we say that we are hungry?
Yini ezokwenza ukuthi uma sitshela uNkulunkulu ukuthi nazi izitha zethu efuna usinqoba kube uyena osinqobela zona yini ezohlula lokho?
What will stop God from conquering our sin, our enemies, whenever we say to Him, here are our enemies before us? What will stop us from doing that?
Yini ezovimba ukuthi mangithi Nkosi ngicela ukukhula nangampela ngikhulu ngingafi ngisemncane?
What would stop my prayers when I say that, God, may I grow to be old, of old age?
Yini ezovimba ukuthi masithi sicela ukuthi singaguli nangampela singaguli?
What can stop us when we say that we ask that we do not become sickly, and indeed we do not become sickly?
Sibonile kufika i-coronavirus sacela ukuthi ingasiphathi nangampela yangasiphatha.
And we have seen that when the coronavirus broke out, we asked that we are not overcome by it, and indeed that did not happen.
Ngiyacela ukuthi lezi zinto esuke sifundiswa ingilosi zihlale engqondweni yethu.
I ask of you that the things that are taught to us by the angel dwell firmly in our minds.
Asizinikelele ingilosi zethu ukuba zisibheke.
And let us give offerings for our angels to look after us, to guide us.
ngoba sesifundisiwe lokho.
For we have been taught to do that.
Masinikele amaphoyisa ukuthi esivikele esihlaselweni zigebengu.
Let us give an offering and ask for heavenly police to look after us or guard us against being attacked by robbers.
Mina ngiyangibona umkhokheli ngaso sonke isikhathi akakhohlwa ukunikelela amaphoyisa.
I always see the chief counselor giving an offering, asking for heavenly police to look over us.
Ngokuhlala enikelela amaphoyisa kuye kuthi into noma ngabe isintshontshiwe noma ngabe ilahlekile siyithole ngoba sikwanikelele amaphoyisa asezulwini ukuthi esifunele lento.
And because we constantly give offerings for a heavenly police, even if we lose something, we find it.
Asinikele sicele ukuthi uNkulunkulu asivikele esitheni zethu ngoba ziningi.
Let us give an offering and ask that God protects us from our enemies, because we have many.
And izitha zethu eziningi kakhulu amaNazaretha.
And most of our enemies come from the Nazarenes.
Azikho izitha eziyingozi njengezitha zamaNazaretha kuleli bandla.
And there are no other enemies that are as dangerous as the Nazarites to us.
Angize ngathi mangihamba ngicabange ukuthi khona umuntu omKristu ongangenza into ethize.
Whenever I walk out, I do not think in my mind that there is a Christian who can do anything to me.
Kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi amaNazaretha engakwenza lokho.
But I do know that the Nazarites are capable of that.
Ngoba uNkulunkulu wajabhisile.
Because God has disappointed them.
Bebecabanga ukuthi lento into nje yomuntu.
They thought that this belongs to a human.
Manje bajabhile ukuthola ukuthi lento uNkulunkulu uphakathi kwayo.
And they are now disappointed to know that God is amongst us.
Ngakho ke kufanele ukuthi sicele uNkulunkulu ukuthi esivikele ezitheni zethu ezingamaNazaretha.
And therefore it is fitting that we ask from God to protect us from our enemies who are the Nazarenes.
Akakho ama-factions amaNazaretha angayizizitha zethu.
There are no factions amongst the Nazarites in their entirety who are not our enemies.
Bonke kusukela ebuhleni ekuphakameni ithembe ezinhle iginye ezinye nabanye sizitha zabo basibona sizitha zabo.
All the different factions are enemies to us.
Into eyenza ukuthi sizitha zabo ukuthi bayakhuluma kakhulu.
And what makes us our enemies is that they talk too much.
Bakhuluma into abangayazi.
Speaking about matters they do not understand.
Basithuka benza yonke into.
Insulting at us.
Kodwa uNkulunkulu kuyabonakala ukuthi uyabajabhisa.
But it is evident that God is disappointing them.
Uyabaphoxa.
That God is embarrassing them.
Ngoba leli bandla leli liyakhula.
Because this congregation is growing.
Likhula nokuhlakanipha okuyisimangaliso iningabe izinto esizenzayo njengamanje singeke siyiveze kodwa ezenziwe leli bandla.
And it is growing in prudence, and there are many things that we are currently doing which we cannot actually announce now.
Kodwa kuphela lonyaka leli bandla lobelaziwa endaweni eningi ukuthi ukhona ibandla elilandela uNkulunkulu ophilayo.
Amen.
But by the end of this year, there are many places which will know about this congregation, and we will be known as the congregation that follows the living God.
Lamabandla amakhulu azoba inhlekisa emhlabeni leyo nto kuphela bazoba yini.
And these other great congregations will become a mockery on earth. That is their destiny.
Ayikho into abangayiqhenya ngayo ukuthi bazoba yiyo ngoba bazophela nje.
And there is nothing that they may boast about, because they will come to an end.
Kodwa leli bandla lizokhula bathanda abantu noma bathandi lizokhula.
But this congregation will grow in numbers, whether they like it or not.
Noma amaKristu engakhulumani kodwa leli bandla lizokhula ngoba ngelasezulwini.
Well, whatever it is that Christians say, this congregation will grow, for it is of heaven.
Noma amanazoretha ngathini abanye bethi baningi abanye bethi basekuphakameni abanye bethi bangamakhosana konke lokho akusho lutho ezulwini.
Whatever the others say, whether they boast that they are great in numbers or that they are at a pagameni, that means nothing in heaven.
Kodwa okuseqinisweni ukuthi uNkulunkulu phakathi kwethu.
But what is true is that God is amongst us.
And sidinga ukuba sithandane, sidinga ukuba sisebenze kakhulu.
And we need to love one another and we need to be industrious.
Kufanele ukuthi siyazi indaba kaNkulunkulu njengoba injalo.
And we should understand the issues of God as they are.
Ngoba sithandiwe ezulwini.
For we are loved in heaven.
uNkulunkulu wehlise ingilosi kuba izohlala nathi ibe udade wethu into engenzeke emhlabeni.
And God has brought to us an angel to be like his sister amongst us, which is something that does not happen here on earth.
Mina ngizenwaye ngithi ngiyaphila ngempela ngihleli kanjani ingilosi.
And sometimes I pinch myself to see if I'm really still alive, and I ask, how is it that I'm living with an angel?
Ngihleli nomuntu onganababa, onganamama, onganakuqala kwensuku, onganakuphela kwensuku, kodwa ngihleli naye siyaxoxa naye njengawonke umuntu kanjani.
And I'm living with a person who does not have a mother or a father, nor the starting or ending of days, and I live with her and talk to her. How is that possible?
Nomkhokheli ngike ngithule ngombheni ithawu kodwa uthi umuntu kahle le.
And sometimes I look at the chief counselor and ask if she is really human.
Ngoba ngithola njena ehleli nalomuntu wasezulwini beyixoxela beyihlekela ngithi but how?
And I find her sitting with this heavenly being, sitting and sharing jokes, and I ask myself, how is this possible?
Ningamangali ngelinye ilanga manithi nihleli nithola umkhokheli akasekho.
And do not be surprised one day when you are here and find that the chief counselor is no longer amongst you.
Ngoba aninalo iqiniso ukuthi umuntu ngempela.
Because you cannot be truly sure that she is human.
Lokhu ngikusho ngoba kwenzekile kithi.
I say that because it happened to us.
Sihlalile nobesuthu wathi umkhokhelezala wayihleli naye wathi ngishe ogana wayihlala naye nami ngaze ngambona saxoxa indaba eziningi, but at the end ngathola ukuthi akuseni umuntu ingilosi.
I say this because we lived with Nobesutu, who was there when the chief counselor was born. She grew up with the chief counselor and she was there when she got married. And even when she started living with me, I witnessed her present, and suddenly she disappeared.
Ngiyakithi mangicabanga ubudlelwane bami noBesuthu nangendlela besixoxela ngayo ngibona ukuthi engaze ngoba isiphupho.
And whenever I think about the relationship I had with Nobesutu and the things that we would talk about, I think of myself as a fool.
Ngithi kanti wonke sonke lesikhathi lo muntu lona ngoba ngangiyixoxela yonke lento ngithi ngiyixoxela nentombi kanti ngangibheda.
And all along I would just talk to this person thinking that I'm speaking to a random girl, and I was just speaking foolishness.
Bese ngiyayibuza ukuthi pho yena lo mngani le ngiyamazi ukuthi uyena.
And then I asked myself as to, and then this one who has married me, how do I know her state?
Okuningi ngeke ngize nginivezele khona kodwa lento esikuyona ijele kabi kunokuqonda kwini.
There are some things that I cannot reveal to you, but what we are gathered amongst is something that is too deep for your understanding.
Into esimanga uNkulunkulu ukuthi kwawena oyiyo uyakufihlela ekuvezele ngesikhathi esinye.
And what is amazing is that God can hide it away from you who are, and then will reveal it to any time that He chooses.
Mhlawumbe ngovezelwa sengafu ukuthi hayi nginje ngingaqale ngikwazi ngila emhlabeni angazi mhlawumbe ngovezelwa ngila emhlabeni akazi.
maybe the kind of person that I am will only be revealed to me when I am no longer here on earth. I do not know. Maybe I'll still be alive.
Kodwa ziningi izinto esiyitshelwe ingilosi ngathi esingeke sizikwazi ngisho ukuntshela zona.
But there are many things that we have been told by the angels regarding ourselves, which we cannot pass on to you.
So uma ubona abantu basebuhleni nabakuphakameni besithuka belokhuza uyawubona ude kulele kodwa kuba kubili ngabe kuyavusana.
And when you see the people of Ebuhleni swearing at us or insulting us, you can just see that they are blind to what is happening.
Ngoba asiyona lento abacabanga ukuthi siyona.
For we are not what they think of us to be.
Kodwa kuzohamba kambe bebone ukuthi asifani nabo.
But it will come such a time that they will see that we are not like them.
Bazohamba bebone ukuthi iNCG libandla likaNkulunkulu.
And we will eventually see that NCG is a congregation of God.
Lamandla lenhlanhla esinikiwe inikwe thina sonke.
And the power and the fortune that is amongst us has been given to all of us.
Ikhona ngithi umuntu nomuntu phakathi kwethu angasithambisi sisebenzelele indawo kaNkulunkulu.
And that is why I'm saying that each and every individual amongst us should not soften themselves. We should be industrious when it comes to the matters of God.
Angazi ukuthi abantu emhlabeni bangakanani kodwa babalwa ngama-billions.
I do not know how many people there are here on earth, but they are counted to billions.
Kodwa kulabo abantu abangama-billions akakho umuntu akwa-experience lento thina esiyibonayo.
But amongst those billions, there are no people who have experienced what we have witnessed.
Akakho umuntu owakwahlala nengilosi iminyaka eminingi kangaka njengoba kwenzeka kithi.
And there is no one who has lived with an angel for so many years as it is happening with us.
Akakho umuntu oke kwafika ingilosi yazomfundisa impilo yasezulwini njengoba kwenzeka kithi.
There is no people who have witnessed an angel teaching them about the lifehood of heaven.
Thina siyafana noMose, thina siyafana noEnoch.
We are like Moshe and the prophet Enoch.
Sinezinto eziningi kabi esizaziyo esizothi mangabe uNkulunkulu esinikeza amandla sibhala siveza umhlaba umangale even after 3000 years bekuthi kwake kwaba khona into enje emhlabeni.
There are so many things that we are yet to write and talk about if God permits us to, and people will still be amazed even after 3000 years that such a thing ever existed.
Ukuthi kukhona abantu abahlala nengilosi abayazi ingilosi ukuthi iphila kanjani.
That there are people who have lived with an angel and know how an angel lives.
Ukuthi kwake kwabanabantu abahleka nengilosi.
That there once existed a people who laughed or shared humor with an angel.
Abantu ingilosi ayifika kubo yenza ama jokes bafica bephatheke kabi.
And a people who the angel would come and joke around with when she sees them upset.
Uma uphatheke kabi ifika ingilosi ifika ikududuza.
And whenever you are upset, the angel would just come and comfort you.
Lezi zinto zenzekile kithi siyibuka.
And these things have happened to us in our presence.
Manje nake ngiye ngiyibuza ukuthi lenhlanhla engaka enginayo ingenzeka kanjani ukuthi ngiyikhohle.
And I always ask myself that how can I forget such a fortune?
Yini engangenza ukuthi kube khona enye into engiyithandayo kunokuba kunombuso wezulu. Ayikho into engiyithandayo.
What would make me love anything more than the kingdom of heaven?
Ngoba lento yasho babamkhulu ukuthi uma uke wafika ezulwini ngisho ungeza la emhlabeni uyinqume intamo ungayinquma ukuze ubuyele ezulwini. Ikimi ngiyayazi.
For what the prophet said when he said that if I were to take you to heaven and bring you back and say that you should cut your neck off so that you can go back to heaven, you would do that, and that is what I am experiencing.
Ngoba lento yasho babamkhulu ukuthi uma uke wafika ezulwini ngisho ungeza la emhlabeni uyinqume intamo ungayinquma ukuze ubuyele ezulwini. Ikimi ngiyayazi. For what the prophet said when he said that if I were to take you to heaven and bring you back and say that you should cut your neck off so that you can go back to heaven, you would do that, and that is what I am experiencing. ayikho into neyodwa nje engiyithanda nengase ngiyiqhathanise nombuso wezulu, ayikho neyodwa.
And there's nothing that I love or that I value which I can compare to the kingdom of heaven.
Ekuqaleni ngangithanda ukubuka amafilimu, ngithanda nokulalela ipolitics. Manje yonke lento yaphela ngoba ayikho enye into engiyicabangayo ngaphandle kokubuka umbuso wezulu njengoba siutshengiswa ingilosi.
Before I used to like watching movies and involving myself and following politics, but I no longer value all of those.
Gosi, gosi, Masibheke enkosini. uNkulunkulu wasekuphakameni. uNkulunkulu kaShembe. Nkosi mdali wezulu nomhlaba. Siphambi kwakho Nkosi ngaleli sabatha lakho lanamuhla. Siyabonga Nkosi ukuthi usimemile. Ngoba Nkosi size kuwe sizokudumisa. Cela Nkosi uba ukudumisa kwethu kwamukeleke ezulwini. Bakhumbule Nkosi laba abantwana abeze kuwe. Bezofuna izwi lakho. ngicela Nkosi ukuthi leli lizwi Nkosi lihlale enhlizweni zawo, lihlale Nkosi nasezingqondweni zawo, bafunde Nkosi ukukwesaba, bafunde Nkosi ukukuthanda, bafunde Nkosi ukwethemba wena kunezinto zonke. Siphe Nkosi ukuhlakanipha kwasezulwini, usenze Nkosi ukuba sikwazi ukwahlukanisa ubuhle nobubi. Lobo uNazaretha Nkosi ukukhulise, ngathi Nkosi umhlaba wazi ukuthi wena ukhona, ngathi Nkosi umhlaba wazi ukuthi wena uyesatshwa, wena uyahlonipha, ngathi Nkosi umhlaba wazi ukuthi uma abantu bekukhonza ubanika konke abakucelayo. Ngiyacela ke Nkosi ukuba usinqobele izifo ezikhona emhlabeni, singahambi Nkosi emhlabeni sibancane, singabulawa Nkosi yilezifo zo-coronavirus nezinye. Umusa wakho Nkosi mawehlele kithi, ngelakho Nkosi igama manje ephathe. Amen.